Right then, diving in to episode 17 of the Midnight Pod. Similar to last episode, I still got a bit of man flu, so I probably sound fucking weird. But we've got our second musician and fucking, I'd probably say like the most famous person on the pod, to be fair. Like, not to suck your ass, but it's true. Santino LeSaint. That is your stage name, right?
Yes.
It's the real first name, but...
Yeah. Fake second name.
All right, cool, yeah. So I actually first met Santino about 2.5 years ago when he was a model, still is a model, but when we'll get onto that, but like more into music and shit. And he was on, modeling for Midnight basically. So I remember we did, I think was it one shoot or like a few shoots? I don't know.
I feel like it was 2, but I can't remember where the first one was.
With a guy called Dave who used to shoot a lot of represent stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like, fucking 10-hour shoot, loads of different necklaces. I think I broke my nail and shit, but no longer involved in that brand as everyone knows. But yeah, that's how we met basically. And then just found out we have other mutuals and it seems like a fucking small world. But yeah, I just think like with every pod, this was going to be like an e-com entrepreneurial podcast, but then I'm just interested in getting different types of people from different walks of life on. And I've always been interested in music myself, as I was just saying, starting my freestyle rap career on the side, which may or may not go anywhere. But I guess first question as usual, and Tokyo's fucking biting, I guess, again. It's just really, what is your background, I suppose? Like, where do you get started? Obviously, a lot of people watching will know who you are, I'm sure, but
hope so.
Give like 5-10 minute intro, and then we'll dive into a load of shit.
So Santino LeSaint, that's my name. I'm 23, I'm from South London. Started making music really, I mean, you know, when do you start? I could say I started at 8, 9 really, because that's when I like first started writing songs, but I started releasing when I was like 17. My dad's a musician, so he kind of taught me how to produce and how to play guitar and little bits like that. And yeah, in college I started releasing covers on SoundCloud, and that kind of started things off. Like nothing really blew up or anything like that, but you know, just kind of put my foot in the door. And then after that, I started doing gigs. So I actually did like 2 or 3 gigs a week for like a summer and like a month after, and I think that's like kind of what helped me to like start my career. Like nothing was going crazy at all, but it definitely pushed me in like the right direction as far as work ethic. And then a guy messaged me on Facebook called David, who's now my manager, saying, "I just seen a video you did on this platform called Sofa Sounds. Do you want to link up?" And I was like, link up? The fuck? Like what are we linking up for? I was like, I don't know you. Like this is weird. I'm just trying to make music. But whatever. He said he did some stuff with SBTV. I was like, cool, maybe this is cool. Ended up becoming really good friends. Turns out he wanted to start like a label thing called Cloud X. And he had a studio in Brixton. Turned out it was next to my house. So it was like fate, really. And then we just started making music together. And really the rest is history, you know. Just kind of kept putting releases out, slowly grinding. You know, it was never a moment where like, you know, overnight this has happened. Or like I never had no co-sign, never had no big label budget. It's like me, David, and my boy Ben, who basically all make up Cloud X. And for a long time it was us just working out of his house. Now super grateful to have like different people on board. Like I got a distributor who helps out loads. We got a couple girls in the office now, like a couple PR agencies and stuff. So it's going really well. But yeah, bro, long grind. Yeah,
so I saw you said 1 million monthly listeners.
Yeah,
1 million. I saw it on Spotify because I don't know what that was, like 2.5. Where was that 2.5 years ago? Because that would have been when I first came across you.
It would have been 150 maybe.
Yeah,
150, 200,000. Yeah, it was all right, but yeah, it was definitely lower. I mean, it's funny because that number fluctuates lows depending on how many playlists you go onto, which is why you could see a lot of really big artists with no monthly listeners and then all of a sudden with lows, because you set up 5 features with big artists and you just share your monthly listeners. So I could do a song with someone with 100,000 monthly listeners. Tomorrow, my monthly listeners are going up to near enough 100,000. But being able to get there with no features, no cosign, no major labels, like, you know, the best thing I think it's the first thing I've been proud of actually, like musically. Just being able to do that with my friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty
lit. Sick, yeah.
And was that like always, like you went to college doing what, like music or other shit?
No,
like standard stuff?
I went to a music secondary school, but like, you know, it wasn't like a super music school. It was just like a standard, looking to bite my sleeve.
Yeah, fuck.
It was just like a standard music school, you know what I mean? And in college I actually didn't do music. I did graphic design and 3D design, because that's what I wanted to do. And music was always just a side thing. Yeah, no, I didn't study music in school. I did my grades in like my early years, like year 7, year 8 type stuff. Yeah. But I studied graphic design and architecture because that's just what I wanted to do like as a career. But I always knew music was the thing, you know, especially like my dad being a musician, and I was still performing and doing shows and all of that. But I guess there's a point where you have to think realistically, right? Especially at that age with parents and like in school, it's like, you know, I can't turn around and tell all my teachers I'm going to be a musician, so I'm not coming to any of these classes or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I got to like 16, 17, I was like, yeah, there's no other way really.
And was that when you went full time, like officially, or?
No, actually, I that's when I started not giving a fuck about being popular. Firstly, like I was in college, like
popular music or popular
like being a popular kid in school.
Yeah.
I was like, all these popular kids are fucking lame, bro, so lame. So I was like, I'm gonna spend all my lunchtimes in the music classrooms just with like all the music kids, just having fun. Not to say they're not cool, because I found them fucking cool, you know what I mean? Yeah. But quote unquote popular kids. And
yeah, I feel like kids that are popular when they're 16, generally rule of thumb is they're probably not doing much when they're like 26 or whatever.
Exactly. And it always comes to it now, like those type of kids always message me like, yo, like, you know, so sick to see you doing what you're doing, like how it's been so crazy since college, I can't believe it. And I'm like, well, it's not that crazy, the fact that I just spent 2 years in a music room every lunchtime when you're just smoking weed. Like, not even to say I wasn't smoking weed, because I did, you know what I mean? Like, but just saying, like, it's not that crazy,
smoking weed
man.
with a purpose, though.
Yeah. But I guess I got lucky. I fell in love with something. So, but I went to uni as well.
Oh,
somehow,
shit, really?
bro. Yeah. My attendance was under 10%. But
which
I went
uni? And
Ravensbourne.
All right.
Yeah.
What did you study?
Graphic design.
So not even music?
No.
Mad.
I know. I was meant to go to Nottingham Trent and do architecture, but I got the course like schedule, and it was like 5 days a week. I was hoping for like 3 days a week.
Yeah,
and
that's heavy.
Yeah, my manager was like, if you want to make music, you can't be going to Nottingham. And I was like, fuck it. So I deferred on like the first day of uni. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to choose graphic design, because they had 2 contact days a week for like 2-3 hours. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll be able to juggle music with this shit. And it was crazy, but did it in the end. So
yeah,
no complaints.
So you actually finished it?
Yeah, I did it.
Oh, fuck.
I came out.
I thought you were going to say you dropped out.
No,
like me.
Bro, nearly.
And all the other guests.
You dropped out?
Yeah, I dropped out twice.
The same place?
Yeah, well, I did business for 6 weeks and then graphic design and then advertising.
Okay.
All in the same uni, but like went back a few times.
Mad. Yeah, where'd you go?
Northumbria in Newcastle. I fucked my A-levels, so I should have gone to Newcastle.
Yeah.
I got like B's and shit.
Yeah, so. I fucked mine too. Same shit.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess looking back, like it fucking makes sense. Like all the dots like line up or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mad. And then modelling. That's how obviously we met.
Yeah.
What's the story with that? How did you get into that? Like, where does that sit now? How has that changed since music's got bigger and shit?
It's mad because it's always been like a backseat thing, if I'm honest. Like I've never really been too interested in modelling.
Just a good looking cunt.
Yeah, I mean, use it. Why not? You know what I mean? If someone tells you can model, I'm like, all right, if I'm going to make some money out of it. But what I don't like is I don't like being sold dreams. And that's what the modelling industry really is. It's being sold dreams and favoritism. And it's all good. You can make your money out of it. And, you know, it's all fun, partying. And obviously fashion is a super big part of music. But like,
yeah,
I learned that I can just occupy all these modelling spaces as an artist, which is what I am. Like, I'm not trying to be a model, you know? And I just get so much more work as an artist anyway. So I modelled for a bit with a couple of agencies, and I'm still on one now. And it's all love, but it's just like I don't put my energy into being a model. Yeah. You know, I put my energy into being an artist and a musician because that's what I am. And then look who's back. And then you know what I mean? Take it from there, really.
Yeah. When you say soul dreams, what do you mean? I mean, I'm certainly not in the fucking modelling industry, but I've watched like documentaries and shit and like Vice, you know, Vice videos where it's like the guy's got a deep voice like, I was in this industry.
Imagine one of those about modelling. Usually it's about drugs though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, when I say that, I mean, as we all know, like, you know, the modelling industry is is a very savage place to be in. I think especially for young women as well over young men, just because of like the impacts it can have on like people's mental health and your body image and stuff. But it's also just people. It's just so it's like fast fashion, right? They can just cut you and take you as quick as they can. Like they asked me to shave my hair off, so I shaved my hair off.
Really?
Eventually, because they said they'd get me more jobs. They didn't get me more jobs. They said I needed to get my Instagram numbers up, and I get more jobs. I got my Instagram numbers up, didn't get no more jobs. Told me I needed to get my music numbers up, got my music numbers up, didn't get me more jobs. So like it's just Did
they see that as linked? Like
yeah, because I was on their books as a musician.
Oh, okay.
So, but I wish they have talent boards. And my thing is like, it's not even that I have hate towards them, because I get the game, I get the industry. It's the same with like record labels and everything. It's just that I don't have time to entertain it. And I used to entertain it and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wait around and do this, and hopefully someone will give me a handout. Hopefully someone will give me a job and it'll help me blow. And like, it's not that. You just have to go out and get it yourself. And after being told so many things that I'm sure loads of other people have been told, because most agencies have their like, you know, top 5 people, top 10 people. After being told all those things and they're not coming through, I'm not going to sit around and, you know, wait to blow up and then have these people get their bag off me. Like, nah, man.
How did you get started in that originally?
In modelling.
Yeah.
Yo, fellas, quick one. First bit of promo for the pod. You may or may not have heard, I released a fucking ecom course a few months ago. Basically spent like 6 months making it because I was in between businesses, as you probably know if you follow my shit. I must say, 12 hours long, it's fucking quality content. I was going to drop it at like 1,500 quid with some bullshit guru-y webinar and all that rubbish, but as you know, it's not my main thing. I'm working on a new brand right now, very, very fucking much in the trenches, which is why I think it's actually a better course than everything else out there, because it's built on real experience of my brands in the past and my current one. I think it's super, super valuable. If you're interested in ecom, you're already in ecom and you wanted to get into ecom, 0 to 1, starting a brand from scratch, then definitely worth investing in. Link is in the bio of this video, or podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever the fuck you're listening or watching, and enjoy the rest of the pod.
I think I got scattered by a couple of agencies at the same time as reaching out, actually. Because I think a lot of artists, regardless of if they're like traditional model looking, back to that sleeve, innit? Regardless of if they're traditional model looking or not, start to like enter the fashion industry, and it's the easiest way to go through a modeling agency. Yeah. So they kind of just like, their teams reach out to people and they go through to it like that. And that's kind of how it worked with me as well. And then when the music stuff started going well, I got like scouted by a couple of other people. But yes, it's cool, man. I have a lot of friends in the modeling industry and a lot of agents who I love. And like my agent at the moment is actually one of my really good friends. But you know, she knows how I feel. I'm a musician. Like I don't really care about it too much. Yeah. I love fashion and I love art and I love like doing creative stuff. But the modeling industry, no, same way I don't even care about the music industry that much, bro. Like, yeah, I don't even feel like I'm a part of it, really.
Mad.
Yeah.
And just on modelling, so I feel like people intrigued on that, like, pays pretty well, doesn't it? Like, if you're in a decent agency, or does it really fluctuate?
Depends what jobs you do, and it depends who you are, because you can get paid. Like the same amount. You can get paid different amounts for the same job, basically.
Can we move him?
Why?
He's being fucking retarded
so much. I don't.
He's normally fine. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Do you want to just put him in my room or something?
There's just something about this bit of sleeve.
Yeah, honestly, he's done it to like 5 guests.
Really?
Fucking, it gets too much, so it puts people off. You just put him in my room and open the balcony, so we can like piss or whatever.
I don't mind.
And then shut the door as well, because he'll just scratch. Fucking annoying cunt. So he goes. He's either like that or he's asleep.
Really?
No,
I don't mind. It's just whatever. As long as I'm not getting shagged on camera, then
yeah. Well, that's what is happening. So.
Yeah. What did you say? You said
about pay.
Yeah, you can get paid really well. Top models get paid, a shit ton, and you will get paid depending on how much experience you have and what type of model you are, and you can make a living off it. But once they're done with you, they're done with you. But I think like most industries are like that, man. Music is like that. I think music is probably 10 times worse than the modern industry. Like, I respect the modern industry in a way because they can just be like, you've put too much weight on, we're dropping you. Or like, you're too old now. And I'm like, you know what? Fair enough.
Because it feels more objective.
Yeah, and they can be savage and be straight up about it. But the music industry is like, they're going to keep you going around in circles and circles, telling you you're okay or telling you to try this and keep your arm's length just to like see if you might do something, sign you and shelve you. Yeah. I think I'm probably a bad or biased person to talk about industries with anyway in general, just because I'm super independent and I'm also just super like, I guess, anti-establishment in general, like the way I just am, you know? So I'm always like, fuck the man, you know, do it myself and my friends. So biased.
Because I was paying you, I think, the brand was like £900 day rate or something, so it's pretty decent, I guess, if you got that. And then the agency takes like what, 20-30%?
Yeah, that's what they tell you they take,
and probably more.
Yeah.
Like
they'll chop some off the top.
Yeah.
But it's the game, bro. Like, it's all the same. Music's the same. Like, it's all a finesse. And you're either like finessing or getting finessed. And I'd rather be the finesser. Yeah, interesting. Low key.
So I guess like, were you doing modelling until, in your mind, music basically paid enough or more? Was that the way you thought about it? And even now, like, do you do way less modelling now because music's getting bigger? Or is it not that?
It's weird. So modelling was, as I said before, has always been a side thing, but it's always also been a thing where I'm like, I'd love to make money out of it because you have fun shoots and you meet fun people, and it's also just networking for music.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I do more now. I mean, my price has gone up, which is good. So, you know, bigger shoots, better money. But I think I started to understand that all of this stuff is just linked, bro. Like, I've got like 2 sets of PR right now who do like celebrity PR, who we just brought on, and then music PR. And I have my distributor who like links some other stuff up, and I'm like, they all do the same things. Like, if they get me a look in a magazine where I'm taking pictures, that's kind of modelling, really, isn't it? Like, and if they get me some clothes from a brand that I've got to take a picture of, it's like, that's also modelling in this music, you know? So I'm never not doing it, and I'm always open to doing it. But I guess I'm just saying, like, I'm not spending my energy on trying to be a model ever.
Yeah.
And I'm not spending my energy on trying to entertain the music industry really either, you know, or the industry bullshit sides of things. Just making music, bro, and enjoying it.
Yeah, so like, on that then, do you think, would you always be independent? Like, if Universal came along tomorrow and said, let's fucking make you a bit more commercial.
I'm not an idiot, so if someone gives me a meal, I'm taking...
That's what I mean, yeah. Where's the line?
I think that I'm lucky now that I've got to a point where, and I can only say this really in the last couple of weeks, since the album and before the album, but I got to a point where things are now like non-negotiably going well. Like, I can't be spoken to about numbers or this or that or selling tickets. Whereas for the whole of my career before, of course, people could have said things. And obviously there's loads of ways to go. But I just think now it's like, oh yeah, there's this thing, it definitely works. So it's like, either get behind it or not. And I've spoken to my boys, my managers, David and Ben, who also run Cloud X, which is a label that I'm signed to.
Yeah, I saw that on your Instagram. Yeah. I was wondering.
It's like, it's an independent label, and everyone's like, oh yeah, you know, he's signed to a label and stuff. It's like, the label are my 2 best friends who started it so they could distribute my records legally. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, you have to go through these things. But it's not, we're not funded by anyone apart from them 2 boys.
Yeah, I was going to say, so how does that work then? I guess you kind of answered it, like Spotify stuff, like just music, like music money in general. Does that just go basically to the 3 of you?
Yeah, so I have
Whereas with a label, they would take like fucking loads of it.
Yeah, kind of. So basically, if you sign a major deal with a label, they're going to give you an advance. Say you sign a 5-album record deal, which is a massive deal, give you an advance of $1 million, which is cool, and they'll probably spend, let's say, 3 to 4 mil on your whole campaign for the next 5 albums, which is not a lot actually. They'd probably spend so much more. You're not going to see any of that money off any of the streams or anything more likely if it's a big deal like that, if it's a 360 deal, until you have paid off that money that the label have put in. So if you spend your $1 million, you're finished. really, unless you've carved out some bit in your deal where you can earn money off merch or something like that. And with me, the deal I have is that I have a distribution deal with Empire, who work closely with me and Cloud X. I've known them for like so many years now, and they're like my boys too. They're friends. They're a bit older than me, but we're all cool. And so my Cloud X label distributions go out through Empire, and basically Empire put some money up for marketing as well as Cloud X. Cloud X's money comes from just my boys doing what they're doing. I don't ask them where their money comes from. It has nothing to do with me. And instead of taking, getting a milli advance, you take less, so that the point is you can earn off your streams sooner. So as soon as you start paying off your streams, which I'm about to do, it means like that money's just in your bank. I can just sleep and it's rolling over, But I wouldn't say that independent grind is for everyone. I think it suits me because I like creative control, and that's one of the main reasons why I wouldn't sign to a label and never have. I've been into labels before who've told me to make grime. I'm pulling up into a label with being a singer and a guitar, and they're talking about making grime and stuff. It's like, doesn't make sense. Talking about me being Chris Brown and stuff, want me to dance and shit. I'm like, it's not me. So that's why I wouldn't. But like I said, at the beginning, I would now sign for $1 million, because even my manager said it's like, not signing for $1 million is ridiculous, because if you can get $1 million off someone and they can say go and spend it, me and my 2 boys, we could spend that and add 6 months through the roof. You know what I mean? Like, we can do so much with that. So I think anyone is kind of silly not to take that amount of money if you know what to do with it.
Yeah, so on that then, like, where does marketing budget from labels, and if you were to do it yourself, say with that $1 million, where would you spend it? Because obviously, like, you've obviously built up an organic following, like a big one. So at that point, is it like Facebook ads for like e-com brands, or like Instagram stuff, YouTube? What is it?
It depends what type of artist you are. You kind of have to figure out what your fan base are, like, and who they are, where they are, and like what they want, as well as like how your music is best received. So, I have a friend who is quite like, he's kind of like an internet kid type vibe, he's super like into social media and marketing, and he's like really funny and like kind of quirky online, and he's like, I don't know how to describe him, but you know what I mean, like internet kid. For him, it's like I'm rinsing TikTok ads and Facebook ads, and that's what he does amazingly. His TikTok is amazing because that is completely his pocket. But for me, especially my music being like kind of serious and like emotional, you know what I mean? Like, I can't really turn it into
cocaine and girls on TikTok. Don't go so
exactly well. Like, just get taken down ASAP. But there are ways to like, meme it, but like I wouldn't use a meme campaign as a central thing. Like, what we always speak about doing is actually doing things in real life, also because they're things that excite me. Like certain campaigns that I like, I'll just get massive billboards or whatever and like go and physically stick them up places myself illegally, you know what I mean? And then get loads of pictures taken of them, and everyone's like, create commotion through the news or whatever. Or I'd put a lot of spend behind my YouTube videos personally, because my YouTube videos do quite well. Or, spend a lot behind merch and then do things. There's so many different things, but you really have to figure out what your fan base is.
Yeah, TikTok's mad actually. I started posting clips from this shitty little podcast on TikTok. Yeah. It was getting like 300 views. Then one of them got nearly 200k views yesterday.
Bro,
just randomly.
TikTok is so weird. I don't get
loads
how
of
it can do that.
Well, I say loads, but like relative.
Yeah. You can have like...
It's like algorithm
4
shit.
videos on 10 plays, and then one will just hit $1 million, like,
it's
randomly.
Weird. Like, Instagram does not do that shit.
Instagram's going down as well, bro. Yeah. I've been trying to get into TikTok, but I've always found it hard for what I do, because I always see it as like kind of like a bit gimmicky for me. But everyone around me is trying to tell me that I'm tripping. They're like, nah, you're bugging. Like, you just need to get on TikTok. So I've started kind of properly getting into it now. It's
probably a way to do it. It's like relevant but doesn't fuck your brand.
Yeah. It's so true. I think I'm super like cautious about my brand as well. Yeah. Just because I've been like tried to get turned into so many different things before, that the idea of like, you know what I mean, coming across as like, I don't know, some weirdo stresses me out.
Yeah, some sellout on TikTok.
Yeah, trust me.
On the money side then, on the flip side, where does most the money come from in music? And I guess, where does most money come from, like revenue wise? And then secondly, like, I suppose, what's the most profitable part of it?
Well, I always say, and all my friends always say, like, if you're getting into music to make money, don't. Because
that's what the previous guy.
Yeah,
he was definitely a lot smaller than you, but he said the same shit.
Yeah, don't. It's not a quick flip. Like, I know bare rappers who are like, yeah, man, I'm trying to get this music money. I'm like, why, bro? Like, there's so many better ways to make money. Even my manager says all the time, because he's super smart, bro. He grew up rough, but got like 100% scholarship to go to a private school. He's like fucking insanely smart. And we always joke about it, because he's just like, I could just be like in finance, bro, and just making bare bread, but I'm here like grinding my ass off for like pennies. But just because it's like lifestyle stuff, right? And this is what you choose, you know, we get to work with our friends, but music money is not a thing. Most artists don't make money off streams at all. Nowadays, a lot of artists are, because there's different ways to become independent. There are different things like this thing called United Masters, which I've seen before, and like stuff like that, where it allows artists to basically be their own label, because you can do that with the internet now, right? But really, like, artists make their money with brand deals and modeling stuff and fashion stuff, like, and merch. Like, I can't remember what the figures are, but Travis Scott makes so much money off his merch, or made so much money off his merch.
Yeah.
But until you get up to his level anyway, you're not really making money off streaming, because the chances are you've taken a fat deal, or someone has put, you know, 500k into your marketing. So you might be getting 20 racks a month off Spotify, but you gotta wait, you know what I mean, until that shit pays off.
Yeah, is that how much?
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, I swear, like, I thought it was.
Yeah, it is. It's like the old EP merch.
Yeah, that's pretty sick actually.
I got Blue Pill and Red Pill ones.
Is that just on your website?
Yeah. And I'm just making some new one. I'll bring you one. Next time I see you, I'll just bring you one actually. It's like 10 minutes around the corner.
Yeah, sick. No, it's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I guess, right, changing the subject a little bit. What's like the maddest shit you've seen in the music industry? Or is that just, or is it like a myth? I mean, I don't know, like, even just listening to one of your songs earlier.
What, when you say mad, what do you mean? Like,
fucking, I don't know, I like parties with Travis Scott and shit. or is it just like, does it completely depend what circles you're in?
Well, also, like, I personally don't get like surprised by much, you know? So I've been in parties in LA and seen a lot of things, but nothing surprises me. I'm like, it's Hollywood, you know what I mean? This is what people do. Even in parties here and like private members clubs, like people go wild, but like, yeah, I haven't, maybe I'm just so accustomed to it, innit? But there's nothing in my head where I'm like, wow, like, that was really crazy.
I guess another way to put the question then, was there, I don't know, was there been a moment where you thought, oh, like, this music thing's starting to fucking blow up? Or is there like a pivot, or has it been more gradual?
Yeah, I think it's been super gradual for me, if I'm honest. As I said, like, even to you before, when I first came in, like, I've never personally really felt proud of shit ever, just because I always feel like, you know, cool, 100 plays is cool, 1,000 next time, 1,000 plays is cool, what's 10,000, you know? And hitting 1 million monthly listeners was nice, just because it was like a fat middle finger to everyone who doubted me and my boys, like, off doing it independently. So I think that's probably the best or the most exciting milestone I've had, as I said before, because it's just like non-negotiable. But really, like, I'm not excited, because I'm not done. Like, I just feel like there's so much to do. Even for this album I just released, it's like we made 3 great videos and that's all cool, but like, I want 5 videos and I want like 3 more music videos, and I want, you know what I mean, to be able to do so much more. Like, I want to be able to make films and stuff and make my own fashion line. So it's cool, but it's a slow grind and slow process, you know? Yeah,
definitely. And on like music videos and shit then, is that way easier if you were to get in bed with a big label, or is it still like you can still do everything to the same level, like even in terms of like production and shit? I mean, I'm not a producer, but like, is there anything that you think, oh, well, maybe I should work with a big label? And have you been approached by big labels?
I have been approached by big labels before, but I've never been given a good deal, which is also why I've never signed to a label. Most of the approaching also happened before things started going not well, but like, they were fine. It was cool. It was like, yeah, if I was a label, I'd probably sign it, because, you know, this did 1 million by itself or whatever. But, you know, as things got better and me and the boys started pushing Cloud X more, it was like, this is our thing, this is our label, and this is us. Like, you can approach us if you want, but clearly we're on our like own trajectory, you know. And we throw loads of parties and loads of people come and they're like, kind of turn it into a whole world, you know. So now it's like, kind of label for what? But yeah, I think music videos are a tough one, man. I think the max I've ever spent on a music video is $3,000, which is chips,
nothing.
which is absolutely nothing, bro. My music video on the most views, which is I think on like 8 mil, I spent £400 on it.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it was at my ex-girlfriend's house. yeah, literally messaged my ex-girlfriend like, hi, this is really weird, but can I use your house for a music video? And just all got Ubers to like Surrey. Well, I had a girl as well, so I had to like explain to my girl. I was like, babes,
oh shit,
I was like, I haven't got a label right now. Like, you need to understand. I have to do what I have to do.
Was it a nice house?
Yeah, fucking huge.
Yeah, I've seen the video.
Yeah, fucking huge. The video was whatever, but I think we learnt to be super creative on no budget. Like, I dropped a song called Sleepless Nights recently, right? Just before my album, which came out like last couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
And the song was made by my manager because he writes songs and stuff. And he was like, I had COVID when I sung it. I think you'd sound cool on it. So I sung it. Got it mixed and mastered by my friend in LA who I met when I was 18, who does all of my stuff, Connor, fucking G. And shot the video as soon as we come out of lockdown for £200 at a phone box. And it looks like a major label video. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, I have so many
iPhones
like people are,
these days. I got the new iPhone, like cinema mode.
That's what I mean, bro.
Ridiculous.
And labels are spending 50k on videos and then buying their views because they don't do well because they didn't. Their artists didn't.
There's a lesson there for sure.
You know what I mean? They didn't build their fan base. I'm like, bro, the groundwork is so key, and like getting creative and like what we did was just make friends. I had to go to all the parties and like meet everyone, and had to do all the time DMing people who didn't reply to me.
Yeah.
And now they're DMing me back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, facts.
But there's still a way to go, man. I still get aired in my DMs 24/7. So.
Yeah, same. Trying to get fucking guests for this podcast.
I get it, man. People. I just stopped DMing. I'm like, wow, it's going to come. Something's going to come.
Yeah,
I'm not
very
messaging
true.
no one. But.
Very true. So the whole independent thing then, like, I know you said you never had like a co-sign or a big feature. Do you think to get to like, I guess the next level or where you see things going, you know, if fucking Drake came along and said, obviously, but is there people you want to feature with, or is it more just if they're like that big, you'd have to, like, I guess, are you only doing it yourself to like prove a point, or because you just haven't come across the right opportunity yet?
I guess I'm doing it myself because it's the only way I know to do it, really. Yeah. And also because I haven't really had opportunities where people gave me shit ever. Like, I've never been offered big money by labels like that. I've never got all the photo shoots, so got all of this, even when shit was undeniable, even when I was doing, you know, a mill without anyone putting me on the playlist, you know? It took me 4 years to get on the playlist, and I'd already done millions of streams. I was like, that doesn't make no sense at all. But on the other side, I do want to collaborate, and I love collaboration. And, you know, a cosign is, I do think everyone needs a cosign at some point. So a cosign is something that I would obviously welcome with open arms. I wouldn't be like, no, sorry, Drake, don't put me on your story, please, because I want to be independent. Yeah. But I think everyone needs something to like take them to that next level. And if it's not £1 million, then it's got to be like some type of cosign or some type of moment. That's really what it is. Whether it's like you have this super crazy idea for a video, and you're going to do this, and that's going to be the one that's going to like go viral or whatever. I actually have one of those, but I can't talk about it because I don't want someone to steal it.
Coming soon.
Yeah, I have a super video, a cool video idea though that I'm hoping is going to be a thing.
Yeah, sick. Right, I want to switch the subject to get back in after the usual piss and wine break. I don't know if you can speak about this shit, but you mentioned you've had a girlfriend for 3.5 years. Like, does it bother her that you're getting more attention? Because, well, I guess that's kind of the opening question, but like, obviously there must be more attention in every respect, like professionally and as a result personally.
I think it's
like,
hard.
Has that affected anything? Because obviously you like 3.5 year relationship. Yeah. At your age is fucking long. Yeah. Unless I'm just shit at relationships.
No, it's fucking long, and we have broken up. You know, so It's hard. It's super hard. I think it's hard on both sides as well. You know, something we talk about a lot. I can just imagine having a partner who's in the limelight to any respect, you know what I mean? Low level or high level, like that they all bring different issues is super hard to get used to. Because I guess it's not quote unquote normal, right? But I think it's something that you have to work out with your partner, like whether they're able to accept certain things and then where you draw lines on boundaries. I always think it's super like normal, you know, we always speak about it and I'm like, to me it's normal to have to talk about these things regardless of my job. Like it doesn't matter if I have to shoot a video of girls in it, or it doesn't matter if I have to go on tour. Like people just have different lives. And like we could both be with someone completely different and there'd always be challenges in our relationship, you know? So I always try and be like, let's not make it about me being in music, you know what I mean? Let's try and look at it for what it is.
Is she in the industry or no?
No, she works in like kind of like branding, advertising stuff, so not really music stuff. But there's crossover there loads.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think you could be, on the flip side, could you be with someone that was also like a famous musician?
I'll tell you what, I couldn't be with an actor because I can't be with anyone who has to have any sex scenes going on, man.
That's what I mean.
I get super jealous, bro. So I get mad jealous and possessive. But I think I could. I mean, I get why celebrities go out with other celebrities because they understand each other's lifestyle. Like there's certain questions you don't have to ask, but those relationships also pose their own problems in the same way. So, man, I'm always like, I could do whatever. I'm so chilled, bro. I could like, do whatever. Don't my girlfriend see it. Me, like, I could be with this girl, like this girl. Yeah.
It's actually funny. I won't say their name. They won't mind me saying this. I don't really know them that well, but a friend, a friend of a friend, kind of a friend. I don't know him that well, but we were speaking about this the other night with my friend about his friend, who's kind of my friend. But his girlfriend has literally gone from being unknown to having like 5 million Instagram followers because she's a main character on a Netflix series.
Oh shit!
If anyone's watching, maybe they can work this out.
Short amount of time as well.
Yeah, like a year.
And
like a new season comes out. I think she wasn't like no one. She had maybe like 100k, and she went 100k to 5 mil. And he like has like completely normal job, like fucking unknown, like, you know, private Instagram account. And he was saying, this is like an anecdote of what he said, so it's not an exact quote, but people like Ben Chilwell fucking sliding into her DMs. Yeah. And like I'm sure it's not just him.
Yeah.
And she's like presumably like a millionaire now, and her boyfriend's not, and like apparently they've just broken up, but fucking hell, that must have been like
tough.
I imagine myself in his shoes and think, Jesus, like that's pretty difficult.
Yeah, for real.
Especially because it's like she's fucking making it like financially as well, and he's like left behind doing normal shit. I think they were together like, they knew each other long before she had any of that shit. Yeah. But it's just interesting because that's like the only like example of that I've personally ever heard of in like my network.
It's fucking hard. Also, it's like, in my instance, it's harder for my girl, of course, like in different ways, but I think it is, you know, because it's a lot to deal with. Like, you know, this person you're with and your best friend as well becomes this thing which almost becomes like not bigger than your relationship, but all of a sudden they're like a thing to the world, you know? Like, I get it where like, I get DMs from certain crazy fans daily, 3 times a day, who are like calling me daddy and shit, like 24/7, and I'm like, people don't even know who I am, so I can't imagine how crazy it is when people are really popping, you know, and how hard it must be for someone's partner to see that. And you know, everyone deals with their own things, like, so it'd be super crazy to see. But at the same time, I'm always, and I don't know if I'm in a position of privilege to be in, you know, be the one in a relationship who's like the music one or whatever, but I'm always just like, we're kind of just dealt the hands we get, really, and anyone could be with anyone. I'm always like, you know, my girl could be with Vin Diesel, or she could be with the guy who works on the corner shop, like whatever is cool, and I could be with whoever. And there are so many issues that you're gonna have in every relationship, regardless of who they are, what they do, and how much money they make. And you just have to take it as it comes, which is why I always try and see everything as like, you know, a day-to-day thing. You know, it's like, yeah, we can talk about music and this and how hard this is, but it's like, are we good or not?
Yeah.
Because all that other stuff comes second.
Yeah, very true. And the DMs. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you were saying, fuck. I've often thought this, like, how many DMs would Drake get in a day? Like 100,000.
Yeah, yes. At least.
Probably at least.
At least. I get better a day and I haven't even got that many followers, like, comparatively, you know?
Yeah, I've started getting DMs about this podcast from 15-year-old boys. Not sexual ones, but not yet anyway.
Want to come on?
I had a viewer sent me 6 bottles. It's not this wine, actually. I think I finished it. He sent me 6 bottles of red wine from Italy because he watched like 2 podcasts. I was like, fuck. Imagine the shit Logan Paul's getting or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think being in a relationship makes it harder to write like emotional music?
I have never struggled.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I've never struggled.
Because I kind of joked to myself, like, oh, I just had a breakup. Maybe I should write a fucking album. It's like the perfect time for like a creative outlet.
Yeah. I definitely think everyone knows that if you break up, the thing you release after anything creatively, video, album, it's going to be fire. Like
That's what I mean.
Everyone knows it. It's going to be fire. So you should do that. You should get those freestyles going and write
legit.
something. But
legit.
No, I've never had a problem with it. I think just because I've been single most of my life, and I've always written emotional shit. I think just because kind of emotional dude. Like, not even like a cry emotional dude, just like I think a lot about like relationships, like my relationship with myself, my relationship with the world, you know, all the issues in the world. I don't know if it's because of my star sign. That's what people tell me, even though I'm not into that stuff a lot. But I'm just very like, I'm a very active thinker about emotional things. So I've always been super in touch with my emotions and I've always been able to articulate them. So when it comes to storytelling and songwriting, I can always write kind of regardless of what I'm going through. And always write about anything, really. I could write a song about, you know, falling in love with someone or falling out of love with someone and like, you know, having sex with a stripper or like missing someone because they cheated on me with my best friend. It's like, I haven't been through it, but you know, I can write about it.
Yeah, true.
On the flip side, most things I've put out, I've most definitely been through. Like, yeah, very much so.
Yeah, some pretty colourful lyrics, to be fair.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah, lyrics are my favourite thing, man. Lyrics are easily my favourite thing.
Yeah, definitely. And coming on to the whole, I feel like this is a very controversial one, but like the whole, I guess, like rock star image. Do you think, like, you know, drugs, strippers, whatever it is that like, do you think that is that like an authentic thing, or is that like
for who? For me?
Well, I guess in general, I guess for you, or is it like building the brand of Santino that isn't necessarily you? It's like your music brand. That's like an interesting 2-part thing again.
Yeah. Being a rock star is kind of a corny thing to say nowadays, isn't it? Because I feel like
that's what it is.
Yeah. I think a lot of rappers have adopted this rock star life of things, which is them like being really loud and having crazy shows, which is cool. But like for me, also being a rock star is being able to actually shred your instrument and be amazing musically at your thing, and going crazy and like partying. Like let's just say it's not fake. I party a lot. And I go out a lot and I love to drink and I have a good time.
Yo fellas, quick one. You may or may not have noticed there's been a bit of merch, so to speak, in recent episodes. We've got 2 different things. We've got some of the retro style OG Neon Beach posters that are designed like 4 years ago. You may have seen it on my Instagram. And then we've got some of the best-selling OG viral style neon signs that basically did start that entire craze about 2 years ago now. So yeah, if you want to add something to your home office, your living room, just anywhere sick basically that you want to add that extra thing to and support the channel, then you can check that out. Link is in the bio, midnight.co/shop, and yeah, just an aesthetic item to complement the process, I suppose. Cheers for watching and enjoy the rest of the pod.
But I'm not like an asshole, and I'm not ignorant. Like a lot of people love to relate this rockstar thing to like someone smashing up a hotel or like you know, passing out drunk and peeing on shit or something. Like, I'm not a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like I have respect and I'm classy, but like I go out a lot. I love to party. And I love to like live by my own rules and like say fuck you to everyone, or like fuck you to like, you know, the man or whatever. I'm not a dickhead. And a lot of people say, say that when they meet me as well. That they're like, oh, I thought you were like gonna be a bit more like of an arsehole or whatever. And it's like, just a normal dude. Like it's rude for me to like turn up and like not to speak to someone or not look someone in the face when I'm talking to them or some shit. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not a rock star if you do that. You're just a dickhead. Like there's a very big difference.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I also think it is something I've wanted to push more in my music because it's how I feel and who I am. You know, I'm very like, I do whatever, whenever, however I want to do it. I go out whenever. I don't care if it's Monday, Tuesday, like pull up to wherever. But because I have a kind of soft voice, an R&B voice, it's really easy to just like, you know what I mean, put me in that, which is why like most of my new stuff is like I'm really trying to push loads of loud guitars and all that stuff. Because that's what I grew up on. I started playing guitar before I started singing, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, true. I still got my guitar here. I played the other day and I had fucking calluses. Like, I'd literally forgotten how to do it. It's like the motor neurons in my brain.
How long
just like, I literally haven't played for like 3 years.
Okay.
Like, at all.
Yeah,
like, at all.
It's one of them ones you have to. Like every couple of weeks at least to keep, you know.
Yeah, legit. I mean, it's like anything, like fucking work, business, sports. Like, if you don't do it for 3 years, like it's there, but you have to like get the shit going.
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously for me, it's very much just fucking bit of fun now and then. But it was when I broke up with my girlfriend, I was like, fuck, we'll get the guitar out, start serenading like the air, and get like crying about it. Do you think I put some on Twitter like, a few days ago? Actually, I like discovered Twitter like 6 months ago. Get some more. And it was like, my opinion is alcohol brings out, cheers.
Speaking of it.
Yeah, well, speaking of it, particularly red wine, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I was basically saying that if I was completely, because I've toyed with the idea of trying to go like completely sober for like 6 months. And maybe I'm just fucking, I don't know, not committed enough, but I feel like elements of like partying and drinking, like particularly like wine, make you, well, not make you more creative, but bring out like a depth, particularly like music, rather than maybe, I don't know, fucking graphic design, where you maybe just focus a bit more.
Yeah. I think
do you think that helps you?
Yeah, I think it's harder to do anything where you have to look at screens. So like, for example, when I'm producing, if I'm waved in any way, I'm like, this is long, I'm gonna give up. But as far as writing, and I think not even like the practical side of the thing, I think creatively thinking and like doing things that provoke thought and stuff, there's definitely a link. But a lot of people are always like, I smoke weed to be creative, and I'm like, you don't, bro, because 50% of the time you're gonna fall asleep or watch a movie, and then 50% of the time you're gonna write something, you know what I mean? And it's like, it might help you a bit. And I know a lot of people who like, you know, do smoke all the time and it helps them write, but I'm like, I think there is exceptions. And I think generally, I wouldn't say specifically weed is like this magical thing that helps people to be creative, but I definitely do, and I don't know what the link is, but I definitely do find inspiration in like partying and drinking and like being out, or like whether it's wine drunk or like whiskey drunk. And
they're very different.
A lot of the time whiskey's like, me and my boys, we have a little whiskey, like sit down and have intellectual conversation. Wine is like, my girls around, we have some wine. And,
red wine, I start playing the 1975 and like getting sad about my 2011 girlfriend.
Trust me, you get sad about some crazy shit. So I remember that time.
Yeah, legit.
But I definitely do think there's a tie there. I mean, of course I do as well. I party a lot, as I said. I get drunk a lot, and I write a lot when I'm drunk, and about being drunk and about partying. You know, so it's definitely a theme in my music. But not in a way which is like, you know, party 24/7. It's more like, you know, the after effects of it. Exactly. So I do think there is. I'm not sure what it is, but there definitely is.
Yeah, because like we were saying before off camera about a certain controversial topic, like I feel like my experience of people is like generally like, you know, like the creatives and entrepreneurs and whatever, like forward thinkers, you know, whatever you want to call it. I feel like there's a pattern where generally the best ones, or the most creative ones, do similar shit in that respect. Like they like do really good work, whether that's music, building a business, fucking whatever. But then they love the fucking session. Like I've really seen a pattern in that. Like
yes, so true.
I could think of like certain examples, and like some are just into drinks, some love to fucking do drugs really hard, but like it clearly doesn't negatively affect their ability. Like in a way, I feel like it probably brings it out almost more. And then you obviously get the other side of that, where there's probably like a bloody alcohol problem in like British society.
Yeah, I mean,
but then there are people that aren't putting that energy or that potential inspiration towards something.
Yeah, it's so true.
I don't know, it's just an observation.
Yeah, I mean, definitely there's an alcohol and drug problem in the UK, firstly. Like, you know, we binge drink, and we're one of the only countries in the world, obviously, around Europe as well. There are a lot of people who do it, but like, we binge drink from an early age. Like, Americans are drinking like, you know, whatever, wine coolers or something like WKD.
Bud Light.
Yeah,
at 21.
Age 19, age 19, 20. It's like, I was 16, like, cane in vodka, like, from early.
Yeah, it's quite mad actually.
But yeah, it's so true. But I do think that a lot of people who have really active minds, and it tends to be creative people and creative thinkers, and I don't even just mean like artists and graphic designers. I mean anyone who kind of has like an entrepreneurial mind, who has to like think for themselves and like create opportunities themselves, tend to have minds that race 24/7 and want to have a break from that. And I do think that whether it's some people do drugs or some people drink or whatever, it's like that is their escape from their mind racing 24/7 with whatever it is. Obviously it's a hard one because it's super easy to become dependent on these things and on some things more than others, which is why you see how many musicians specifically have died of overdoses. Heroin,
at 27.
Bro, at 27, like Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, like Whitney Houston died of
Juice at 21.
Bro, Lil Peep.
Yeah,
like,
loads.
It's like there's something there which I think people have touched on and spoken about, and I find it super interesting. But I wonder what it is. I think also creative minds are like tormented souls in a way, you know? Like I think
I feel that.
You know what I mean? There's something inside a lot of creative people I know, and I know myself personally as well, that like you're just dark souls, you know, and like old souls. And I think that's also what makes what you do in your day-to-day life and how you think so amazing, but also is a reason you're drawn to these, you know, forms of escaping that shit.
Yeah. On the whole, like drugs and like rappers particularly, I feel like that's such a like cultural thing, like Juice WRLD, whatever, obviously one big example, there's plenty of others, ones that are alive and dead, sadly. Do you think that is like an image thing, almost like the more controversial they can be, like look at someone like Trippie Redd, like I fucking love his music, but like are the face tat's gonna look good when he's 40?
Yeah,
I don't know, like, well, that's kind of a different issue, but like, you feel like he made those decisions when he was fucking on something.
Yeah, Trippie's hard though. Yeah, but yeah, I know what you mean. I think they go hand in hand, don't they? It's like the first artists would start to use drugs because maybe they have demons, or maybe it helps them get something out of them. You know, Ray Charles or Jimi Hendrix writing crazy albums and songs on these things back in the day. All of a sudden, we treasure those artists as like the best artists, kind of not of all time, but like, you know, of certain generations. People look up to them and also understand they have substance abuse problems. Yeah, it then becomes cool to do that, to be like them. And we get down to here where it's like, you know, now in 2021 where it's like, I can't really tell if you're doing Xanax to be cool or like,
because Lil Xan said so.
Yes, I don't really know, but like they all kind of merge into one thing. You know what I mean? It's really hard to distinguish. But fuck Xans specifically. Xans are bad. Yeah,
I've actually never tried.
Yeah, I know some friends who like lost their lives of Xans, like friends and friends of people as well. Like random stuff, like coming home from like a night out, of doing whatever, and then like popping a Xan to go to bed and just like not waking up and shit.
Yeah, fuck.
Bad. Yeah.
Have you ever dabbled in psychedelics in a legal fashion, of course, in legal places?
I haven't, but I've always wanted to, and.
Yeah, I have a few times. I'm fascinated by it because of this new business I'm working on.
Yeah.
Which is basically, like, in the short term, is an imitation of a microdose in a supplement form. That's the concept.
Yeah, nice.
But then, like, psilocybin and shit. Mm-hmm. I've been reading so much about it. I think, you know, like, the mental health studies that are going on now, like, decriminalising it, de-stigmatising it. I feel like it's the next CBD.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But I've never got on with, like, weed.
Really?
Whereas in the experiences I've had in legal countries with psychedelics, which not that many. I haven't done fucking ayahuasca or anything, but like just mushrooms and shit. It's way more. I don't know. I just felt like super creative.
Yeah.
It's like pretty profound shit.
Everyone always tells me like they can't believe I haven't done like weed and acid and stuff. They're like, you like you're that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
I
quite
guess they
surprised.
see me as like a creative, whatever. I think I used to smoke a lot of weed, like so much, like I can't even tell you how much, like loads. And I stopped about 3 years ago. And looking back on it, I don't think weed was as productive as I thought it was, as like we kind of spoke about earlier.
I feel like it slows you down.
Yeah,
It's other shit, maybe.
Yeah.
Speeds or heights.
Also, my relationship changed with it. Like, I've smoked since I've stopped once or twice. Like, had some hash in like Morocco, or whatever, and I was like, wow, this is great. And it's like, oh yeah, because it's not London, whatever. But I find weed a weird one. But I've always had a really positive outlook on psychedelics, and the only reason I haven't done them is because the only times I've been offered them properly is when I was too high, because I used to smoke. And I was like,
probably not a good combination.
Yeah, I was like, nah, now it's not. I want to be pure and like clean if I do that shit. But yeah, I really rate psychedelics. I've never dived into it, but I've dived into like YouTube videos and research and stuff. But
yeah, I felt like people like Jimi Hendrix, certainly like the fucking Beatles back in the day. That was obviously like 60s, 70s.
Yeah,
when there was that like psychedelic renaissance. I sound like I know what I'm talking about now, but I don't. But then it's just mad. Like there's so many conspiracy theories. We did actually speak about this in like a few episodes ago, which will have come out when this comes out. But fuck yeah, probably get like shadow banned this video because we're speaking about that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but
fuck, nah man, we'll be good.
Something I was thinking about as well, and this is like fairly controversial and pretty fucking open, but that's the premise of this podcast. So like obviously like antidepressants, and I'll explain why I'm saying this, are like fucking super common, and I think they massively help a lot of people. I've been on them when I was like 19 and came off them because I felt like because I've always been quite up and down. I feel like probably like borderline bipolar and whatever. I've just kind of dealt with it. But I took these for a few months and I just felt like a robot. Like suddenly there was like no emotion. And I was like, fuck this. And no sex drive, by the way, in my experience, which is part of the reason I came off them.
Yeah.
But I was speaking to like a therapist the other week, and they were like, oh, maybe you should try like antidepressants. I was like, fuck no, because like I don't know, like, and I spoke to like my ex-girlfriend was fucking on them, and plenty of other people. I probably shouldn't have said her, but like someone, and like people have told me like, yeah, I don't want to feel anything. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, like how could you? I don't know, like in my mind, my best like moments of inspiration, whether it's like literally in a day, I'll decide this is the new business. Don't know, maybe quite sporadically, or like design that fucking poster or some shit.
Yeah, that shit's hard. You do that?
Yeah, I was about like 4 years ago. But like, yeah, I don't know, those moments to me are like, I don't know if you've experienced anything similar, but like, I would rather be like, I feel like creatives, what I'm saying is I feel like creatives are genuinely quite up and down.
Yeah, bro.
But I'd rather be that in my
agree.
experience than probably properly like flatlined.
I completely agree. And I personally have like, it's not that I have a problem with like antidepressants. I think it's such a huge conversation to have, but I think I have a problem with the world being, or like whoever it is, pharmaceutical companies, but being so quick to offer someone antidepressants because they feel a certain type of way, because it does numb you out, bro. Like it does robot you. Like I know so many people who have been on antidepressants and it just flatlines you. There's no, it removes the ups and the downs, but I think what we should learn to do as like humanity, which is obviously a fucking huge ask, but it's like we need to learn to understand that fundamentally people are different. Like people get super anxious, people get super depressed, and people get super bipolar more so than others. And it doesn't mean that you should try and tame them to fit this like this state which is going to be more useful for everybody in the world. It's like, no, we need to understand that like individuals are different, and also those things that may torment some people, which they need help to understand through therapy or through friendship or through anything, are also the things that make them who they are and also make them great. Like, which is why loads of the greatest people in the world have all had quote unquote mental health issues. I say quote unquote because I never want to be that guy to label someone as someone to have mental health issues as soon as they feel away. And that's why I also think it's super hard in the world we live in now, because it's like I'm split. It's like, yeah, everyone seems to have a lot of like, or some type of mental health issues. And I'm like, personally, I'm like, of course I do, because how crazy is social media for us to understand and
it's
looking at people's bodies 24/7 and you know what I mean? And like, of course it is, but I'm also like, I think there are just more wholesome ways for us as a community to try and learn to deal with them. You know, I don't have all the answers, but I just think that medication is, you know, some people need medication, but I think people overprescribe that stuff. And I think we need to try and figure out ways as a community to do things better through each other. Like, I know a lot of men who just don't speak to other men about how they feel. I do the exact same thing. I do the exact same thing. And I'm like, why not find a way, or maybe someone should do this. You know, I'm speaking about it and I'm not doing it, so maybe I'm a hypocrite. But I'm like, why doesn't someone find a way to build a platform or a way for men to feel more comfortable to speak to men? Which is why I speak to all my boys all the time about stuff more openly, or I'm trying to. Like, no matter who I meet, if they have some issues, I'm like, let's talk about it. Because you feel stupid talking about it until you open up about it and realize that the person that was sitting next to you all night feels the exact same thing. And I would rather do that, you know what I mean, than like subscribe antidepressants to someone in a heartbeat. Because I'm like, you're limiting someone, bro. You're dumbing them down, you know. But you know, there's so many points and counterpoints that can be had of this.
Yeah, I mean,
which is like, you know, I'm sure there are people looking at this like, oh yeah, you know, I hate you, I don't believe you, and I don't agree with you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I just thought, fucking, yeah, it's just like topical because I was speaking about it recently, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I can.
I just think it applies to, genuinely like creative people and shit. So.
Yeah, as I said, I think the main thing is I think creative people are tormented, bro. And it's not to say that other people don't deal with things, but there's just a common theme of creative people having demons. It's just a thing, you know?
Yeah, facts. Yeah, and I feel like, a lot of people watching this probably relate to that.
Yeah, definitely. And the saddest thing is I don't have the answer of how they go away. You know, there are no answers, but I definitely think, as I said, speaking to people always changes things. And it's funny because I guess I'm a hypocrite, man. I don't speak to people about stuff ever. I don't speak to my girl, don't speak to my family about stuff. My best friends, rarely. I'm starting to more now, but the other day I was at a party and someone was going through some stuff. And I was drunk, so, you know, I was talking my shit, whatever. But I was like, wow, all these things you're telling me right now whilst you're upset, you know, because, you know, they had a little breakdown or whatever. I was like, you think no one else understands, but you're sitting in a room with 4 other people who have been through similar things, who are just not brave enough to say it at this moment, you know? And you now allowed us to say that. And we all just spoke about it or went home feeling better. You might feel a bit embarrassed, but it's like, sometimes you just want to know that there's someone else who feels similarly, you know? And that's like the one thing that keeps you going through it.
Yeah, it's so true. That's basically why I put the first fucking podcast out originally about all the fucking business shit that went wrong. Yeah. Because I was like, fuck, if I don't speak about this. It was like therapy for me. Yeah. But then I had legit like 400 messages off the back of that. I only had like 5k views, so nothing mad. But like the message per view is crazy.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh fuck, I thought I was the only one. Like, or like, I think the problem is just a culture of highlight reel. Yeah, of course. And then no one's speaking about like the real raw.
Trust me, it's like shit. In a world where we're meant to be so much more connected, we've never been so disconnected, bro.
Yeah, like Facebook's mission statement on Meta is like make the world more open and connected. Well, realistically, make the world more like closed and disconnected.
Exactly.
It's like some weird dystopia.
It is, bro.
The ultimate irony.
It is. We're living in our favourite dystopian film, low-key.
Yeah, it's fucked. Yeah, I put a tweet out as well. I'm fucking self-promoting myself, but I put this tweet out because I was like in my feels about my ex-girlfriend like a week ago. I don't know what happened. I was fine for like 3 weeks, and then I just drank too much up north the other weekend, and I was like lost my shit.
Happens.
And started listening to like fucking Robbers by the 1975 and like you know the drill. Yeah. But yeah, I put this tweet out just being like saying like whatever, like the whole culture on social media, particularly Twitter. Yeah. Is like, oh, I should be like a G and all this shit and not care. But that tweet went like viral, and I was like, fuck, obviously, because like people secretly fucking agree with it. So like, I say viral, but like 150,000 reach or some shit, and I've got 400 followers.
So nice. Twitter's a weird one for me. because sometimes I like find it so funny because there's so much funny stuff on Twitter that like, you know, can make you laugh. But I'm also like, seeing this many people's opinions sometimes is so unhealthy, because you start to think that because a tweet went viral, you have to agree with it.
Yeah, facts.
And also it's like a vocal minority of people have like basically got behind a tweet or emotion or an ideal and turned it into this thing. And I think it scares a lot of people into thinking that that's the only way to think. Like, I don't want to get super specific because I don't want to make it mad political, but sometimes I do just look at Twitter and I'm like, all you motherfuckers who have liked that tweet, like outside of stuff that's like funny or like, you know, personal, like political stuff, you think what they've said is bond. You think their word is bond and you have to live by that stuff. And you think that's how the world thinks. And really you don't understand that there's a minority of people on Twitter who like have cult followings about certain controversial topics, and they've tricked you into thinking that's how the world works. And the reason I say that is because the amount of times I've seen something on Twitter or spoke to someone at a dinner party or something at a party and everyone's like, oh, have you seen this thing going around about this or whatever? This is how everyone thinks at the moment. And there's 10 people in the room who all don't think like that. And I'm like, no, we've just seen it
that's what got pushed by the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. It's just been pushed on Twitter. And like, that's not really how the people think at
Perception is reality.
Exactly.
And never more than on like social media.
Exactly.
And the same with like the news and shit. I mean,
I don't watch news,
don't even get, neither do I. That's my point. But like, don't even get me started on that.
No way. I'll be here all night. What am I watching the news for? No way.
Yeah, there's just a lot of doom and gloom in there. Like, everything on the news and shit that gets pushed in like tabloids. I mean, whether it's a certain disease or fucking XYZ thing, and it probably doesn't, like, there's probably a correlation between the amount of that and antidepressants like being prescribed.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was trying to get at earlier as well about like social media and antidepressants. Like, of course there is, bro. Like, Dave Chappelle said it. Who's one of my heroes, regardless of whether they tried to cancel him. He's like, I love Dave Chappelle so much, man. But he said it so clearly. How did he exactly say it? I don't want to like paraphrase him. Man, I can't remember how he said it. I can't remember how he said it though. He said it so perfectly. I actually can't remember it. Damn, like slipped my head.
Yeah.
I've gone blank. Literally gone blank at like the thought of saying it. What did you say again?
Just about the fact that like these news platforms, media platforms, are just like programmed negativity, and there's obviously a correlation between like that and other things. Yeah. Whether it's subconsciously or not.
Yeah. No, I can't remember what he said. But basically, it's there's no denying that, you know, people obviously see bad news 24/7. That's what he said. He said to this kid in the audience, he was like talking about, I think maybe it was like when 9/11 happened or something, or before social media. I can't remember if 9/11 was, but he was like, it was such a big thing, or when things happened back in the day, it's like such a crazy thing. But nowadays, for our generation, it's like that happens every day. Like there's always a terrorist attack. There's always like someone shot up a school because of like some terrible homophobia or like some racist attack. And how are we meant to feel about that? If we see it every week, it's like, how do you expect me to actually still feel emotionally connected to it? You can't. It's so oversaturated. It's like, oh yeah, another school shooting.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
It's so bad. It's so bad. So like, of course, you do that to our emotions, and you start to desensitize the people like that. And then all of a sudden you wonder why people like have problems forming meaningful relationships, because all their relationships have been through social media, or, you know, things like that. So I don't get how more people can't see it. Sometimes I think these things and like watch videos on it, and I'm like, of course. And then I guess people go on and like just get on with their lives, really.
Yeah, it literally is like the man. Like I often think it's just some bloke in a fucking like village by the sea that's just pressing up, fuck this up. Like, I don't know, he's like above Trump and all these people and shit.
Yeah. I mean, that shit exists, man. But, you know, let's not get into conspiracy theories.
Yeah, legit. Bringing it back to music then.
Yeah.
Briefly. Well, I guess this is kind of, well, not conspiracy, but like, Well, I'll start with a fucking funny conspiracy that my old flatmate who did way too many drugs came up with. He was saying that like Justin Bieber is like a manufactured scam and all this stuff. And like, you see these videos on YouTube, like musicians selling their soul and like lizard eyes and shit. I mean, obviously that's ridiculously extreme. But do you think like you have to meet certain people? Basically, like, can you get to the very top? Like, you know, Bieber, Drake level, in your opinion? A, like doing it by yourself, like, is it possible?
I don't think so.
And B, like, without rubbing shoulders with certain people and I guess elements of inverted commas selling your soul and like selling out.
I don't think so. Everyone thinks selling your soul is this super devilish thing where you have to like go do this ritual. You know what I mean? Like, people still think I'm like, bro, if you sign a £10 million record deal to make music you don't like for the rest of your life, and they own your TV, they own your like publishing, they own everything, every right of your life, you've sold your soul. That is selling your soul, essentially. Like, you've given up rights to exactly who you are to someone to manipulate for the rest of your life. Like, that is selling your soul. It's not about, you know what I mean, whether someone's got lizard eyes or MK Ultra or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, that's not selling your soul, bro. But I think, there's the industry, any industry really is about knowing people. Like, you have to be talented, you have to work hard, and you have to be in the right place at the right time. And you have to know people. Because if you don't know no one, then you can't do anything, really. Like, it gets to a point where you need to be plugged into this, and this person is friends with this. And you have to make friends, and it's just natural. So I don't think you can get to that place without going through certain people. But I don't think people should look at it as this like devilish thing, or like this thing which really like diminishes who you are as a person. It's like, there are just certain gatekeepers in the industry. Like, there are certain people who, you know, own certain labels and own certain spaces where it's like, yeah, of course, if you want to be able to get to do a Jimmy Fallon or like whatever, it's like, you got to go through these people because they're the guys. They're the guys who bring people up. Like, I've met so many people in like LA specifically who've been like, oh yeah, I'm that guy that did this for Post Malone. I'm that guy that did this for Chris Brown. I'm that guy that did this. If you need to do this, these are the people I need to link you up with. And it's just a game, you know what I mean? It's like, sure, when the time's right, but I know I'm calling him and I'm like, I need you to do this for me. Like, I'm going through that stuff. But it doesn't take away the fact that, like, you know, we did it by ourselves, you know?
Yeah, still have to be fucking good.
Yeah. Do
you think it's possible? I sometimes think this about like footballers and shit and just like any other facet of life. Do you think it's possible in a music sense to be so good, but you just didn't put content out in the right place? Like, is it possible to be like the fucking best ever, but just not get picked up? Because
100%.
Because I guess it's like the flip side of like survivorship bias or whatever. Because you hear about it all the time, usually from a place of pessimism. But
yeah, it's true. Do
you think that is possible?
I do. I have a friend, more like my manager's friends who we used to work with, who was a bit older than me, and he played like 15 instruments, like probably one of the craziest songwriters I've ever met, and also made like some of the sickest music I've ever met. But he didn't have social media. I didn't really know how to use it. Like, I don't want to be too specific because I don't actually be him, like, you know, talk about him. But he was just on some other shit. But he was on that type of shit where, like, if he was an artist in the 60s, he would have been an icon.
Yeah,
like, he would have been people we still talk about. But yeah, nowadays you just have to do so much more. Like, being an artist is so different. That's why I think, speaking to my guys about it, I think the next projects I'm gonna make, because sometimes I come up with, actually more time, I come up with the concept before I make the project, and then dive into like what it means and like stories off the side of this central thing that it could be. And then I go into the studio with an idea of exactly what I want to write specifically, just because I kind of enjoy it, you know. Spend like 4 months watching film and stuff and getting references and stuff. Yeah. And I kind of want to make this next project about this thing called like the death of an icon. And I haven't really dived into it too deeply yet, but I just think like being an icon in the same way you were back in the days is dead, because you can't do it in the same way. You know, things are oversaturated and there's so many artists, and like social media makes the game completely different. But yeah, there are so many people I know who like super talented, but you know, they don't know how to use social media, or they have really bad money management. And, you know, many things, which is why you need a good team around you. But you also need to be able to like have a team you trust and one who can rely on you at the same time. You know what I mean? They don't want to work with a degenerate, really. And I find a lot of shit hard. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I find organization hard. I don't wake up early in the morning. I sleep really late. I make music really late. Like I'd go to the studio now, 9 p.m.
Yeah.
That's when I'd start working. But I'm lucky that I have a team around me who provide structure and organization and do the things that I'm really bad at, you know, sending emails, admin, reaching out to people, creating opportunities. Like I'm great in person, great to talk to people, great to meet people, great to make music. But apart from that, I find other stuff hard. Like my favorite part of music in general is being in the studio writing a song. It's not like doing the interviews or like performing. Like that's not my favorite part of it. My favorite part is talking to people and writing songs. That's it. So you need a team around you, I think, as an artist.
Yeah, for sure. And on the flip side, do you think, because I was speaking about this earlier, like those fucking island boys I've seen, like, I was like, they're like borderline meme, but they are a meme. But like, do you think you can get somewhere like that? Like they're obviously going to make fucking money and be famous for a while, like 15 minutes, so to speak, just by being fucking excellent at market. Like, because I was saying, like, who's behind those sort of like blow up rap stars?
Same.
Like, it's not just them. Like, someone's got to fund that.
Them meme rap stars though confuse me. I don't know what's like. I'm sure they have a team behind them, but I'm just like, I don't know what's going on with them sometimes.
Yeah.
But everyone's got a team, man. Everyone's got someone behind them doing something. Like nothing happened on accident. Yeah, nothing happened on accident. There's no way.
Yeah, manufactured.
Yeah, it has. I mean, everyone thinks manufactured is this bad thing though as well. It's like, yeah, if you're an industry plant, then I can get it's bad, but everyone can see through an industry plant. People really know when it's like you're not authentic, you know. But there's someone working shit behind the screens, like which is why I celebrated my 1 million monthly listeners and all these other things with my boys, because like it's not my million, it's ours. Like I didn't do that by myself. No way. I couldn't have like got all the looks myself. I'm great at making the music and writing songs and diving into creativity, making the videos, the artwork, all of that shit, talking to people at parties, making friends. That's it.
Yeah.
All the other shit I'm terrible at, and I know that, which is why it's not, you know, team is key, bro. Team is key.
Yeah, for sure. I've learned that the hard way in like the past year in like business and shit. And now I'm just trying to, focus on what you're good at. Because I think when you're younger, like, well, at least typically, I mean, I certainly did. You think like, fuck that, I can do it better than everyone. I can do everything. Yeah. But I don't need some like old guy or help me out with shit.
Yeah. I always got told that, like, I always kind of wanted to be like that, I think. I think that was a part of me, which is always like, as I said earlier, because I'm in general always just quite like, fuck everyone else, I'm on me, like whatever I'm doing. I've always wanted to be like that, but I've always had people around me, specifically my dad, and then when I met my two managers, that were like, nah, you can't do it by yourself. It's not true. Like, you need some people around you. And I think I've resisted it for a bit as well, but when I gave in is when I started seeing results. And I think I also had to accept stuff about myself, which I think it just takes time, you know, as you grow up and as you get more mature. It's like you have to accept that someone's actually better at you than something, you know. And I always find it hard because I'm always that guy, like, I play loads of sports in it, and I play basketball, and I played like highish level and whatever. I'm like, no one's better than me at basketball because that's how basketball is. And music, I'm like, it's not a competition, but no one's in my space. But the idea of being like, you know what, you can just do that thing better than me is like something that I've had to learn, you know, in order to progress. And it's hard, but it's just facts, really.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, wrapping things up then shortly. What's the vision? Is it the same as it was at the start, or has like experience of a certain level of success then like
mix
change things, or like what's the vision now?
It's not really changed, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I think at the beginning of things though, I never really knew what it was like to be world famous or want to be big. Even now I don't at all. But
that you don't, or that's just not priority?
I don't think I know. Like I've always said, people are like, what do you want? Do you want Grammys? I'm like, not really. I don't really care about a piece of metal. Like I love, you know, being commended for my stuff, because it's like, you know, you want to be up there with the greats. But like, if I care about a Grammy as an end as an end point in my career, then I'm obviously focusing on the wrong things, you know? And I don't care about being the richest person in the world and stuff personally. So I've really had to figure that out. And I feel like I'm still figuring it out, because I don't feel like I want anything from what I do, but I know that I want the lifestyle more than anything. And I want the freedom to create what I want, when I want, and how I want it. And obviously I don't want to be broke doing it. Yeah. But I definitely value like freedom over everything. And one of the goals I want is I just want to be able to like be in the conversation of what, like, you know, the greatest of all time. But not because it fulfills my ego, just because I feel like it's only right. If you're in music, it's like, you really got to push yourself, you know? Part of being a musician, and not like an artist or like just a rapper or just a singer, like a musician, someone who's involved in music, is like bettering your craft. Which is why I, you know, a lot of my greats and a lot of the people I respect are like people who play instruments, because it's like, they're not just about stunting or just about like trying to be a cool figure. It's like they've just spent 6 hours a day on their craft for a long time. And I rate that, like, regardless of anything. And that's kind of just what I want to do. So, you know,
it's way more about music than fame or eyeballs.
Yeah, man. All of that shit is secondary. And, you know, I'd be a liar if I said I didn't want part of that shit. You know, who doesn't want to be able to eat the best food in the world in exclusive places and fly? Obviously, everyone wants that. But like, I don't want it enough to sell out. I'd rather make it how I make it and not be able to do that shit and just be cool. But we'll see. Ask me in a year. Maybe I'll change.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, that's interesting. Pretty profound answer. I like it. If you could support anyone on tour right now, who would it be? These are like fucking magazine style quick fire questions now.
I'd love to support St. John. If you're out there, put me on. Obviously The Weeknd would be amazing. Frank Ocean would be sick. Kanye would be sick. Rock bands too. Rolling Stones, that type of stuff. That world would be sick as well. Paramore, my favourite band of all time.
Yeah, I used to love their shit. Well, I still do, but I haven't listened to them for ages. But my second song on my Spotify Wrapped was a Paramore song. Like the most played. Yeah, of the year. Love it. Hayley Williams, if you're listening, hit me up. I saw Josh from U86 follows you. Do you know him?
Oh yeah, that's my guy. Yeah.
Because I was obsessed with them when I was like probably age, I'm going to say like 15 to 19. Oh
yeah, really?
Like absolutely obsessed.
Yeah. Josh is my guy. Like I
don't listen to him as much now, but it's a real throwback when I listen to like that 2008 shit, like Take Off Your Colours. Yeah. I go back to being 15.
I'm sorry, Josh, if you're watching this, but I've never actually listened to them that much. Like back in the day, like all my friends listened to them, but you know, sometimes it's like a band you like, but you never got round to it. Like I just never really got round to it. And then I met him through like one of my boys, Ben, and bro, they're so sound. And also now I really love their music because it's been in front of me. Like I've always like, I like that band because I heard a couple songs, but I never dived into it. They're so sick and they're so nice, bro. Josh is such a G, such a nice guy.
It's a long career as well. In that type of music.
And he's still young. He's still super young and they're still selling out shows and shit, which is sick.
Yeah, mad. If you could, last question, fucking cheesy one. If you could speak to your, I don't know, 17-year-old self, which I guess for you isn't that long ago, but
8 years?
Like as a percentage of career, I guess.
Yeah.
What advice would you give? And I guess like I'm sure there's plenty of like young fucking up and coming artists listening. What's like the most important pieces?
I think firstly I'd say don't second guess yourself, because I think whatever you want to do, you should do it, and whether it goes well or not, you should learn from your mistakes. I think I spent a lot of time deciding what I wanted to do, and it didn't hold me back, but looking back on it, I was just like, you know what, go for that shit, because there should be only one way to make it, and it should be your way, no one else's way, you know? And my second thing would just be to not give a fuck. It sounds so like general and whatever, but I mean it in every sense. Like, don't spend time getting caught up on like what other people think about certain things, or like whether you should be partying with the cool kids or whatever, and like whatever, because you get a couple years down the line and all those people that you thought were cool are going to be coming to you asking you for the same things. Always happens, bro. True. Always full circle. Like even some of my friends, like my boys as well, I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, I want to start producing. And I'm like, bro, I told you to start producing 5 years ago. And if you were producing 5 years ago, you would be fucking sick. But you didn't, because you're on whatever else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I'm lucky that I had people around me, like my dad specifically, who like, when I was getting sidetracked, like I stopped playing guitar for 2 years. He was like, stop being a dickhead. Like, go pick up your guitar. I'm going to make you go play guitar. Like, you haven't sent me a song this week or 2 weeks. What are you doing? And I think I'm super lucky to have that through the stages about 16 to 19. Because that's when you really need it. I think that's when your head starts to, you start to question things more. So yeah, don't doubt yourself.
Yeah, sick. Powerful. Right, I guess, yeah, fucking good episode, Pierre. We probably could have gone super conspiracy level on a billion things. We'll keep it PC.
Definitely could have.
Cheers for watching. As usual, if you're fucking new to the pod, subscribe on YouTube so I can start monetizing this fucker. No, I'm joking. Yeah, share it with a friend if you like it. Keeping these consistent. I'm going to do an episode a week for 52 weeks minimum, which is obviously a year. I'm saying that publicly, whether I do it or not, to keep it up. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Catch you in the next one. Cheers for watching. Peace.